Joey, how has it been making the trip over to Gibraltar, and how are the facilities and everything else?
Yeah, it was great. Listen, flew out yesterday. Obviously chartered into Gibraltar, so when we got in here, obviously it was only 10 minutes to the hotel. The hotel's been great, so lads have settled in. But yeah, getting ready now to train this evening, so get down to the stadium. We went down to the stadium yesterday with the manager just to have a look at the stadium for the Champions League game with the Red Imps. So we seen the Astros, seen how they played and stuff like that. So that was good for us just to get a look at it with our own eyes, and then the lads get a feel of it tonight, obviously, on the Astros and stuff like that.
And what has the atmosphere and the buzz been in the camp after getting the 2-1 win over St. Joseph's last week? Like the first appearance in Europe in 18 years, so there must have been a good buzz amongst the lads afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I think we spoke about after the game that it's half time. You know, you look at these European games, you always just look at them as 4 halves of football, really. You know, and at half time last week was 1-1. We were obviously in control of the game, but we spoke at half time just to say, listen, go out and win the second half. You know, and we did that. So yeah, with 2 halves to go, we're obviously 1 up, and we have a small advantage. But yeah, the game is definitely still in the balance.
And in terms of the weather, what is that like? I'm sure that's going to be a factor as well.
Yeah, no, listen, it's very warm, but to be fair, as I said, we went down yesterday to watch the match. It's very windy at the pitch, so it probably doesn't play like the exact heat, if you know what I mean. There's where the stadium is located, it's right next to the sea, so the breeze is coming in, so it keeps it quite cool, really. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it is actually when you're training on it, you know, tonight.
Mm-hmm. And is there any injuries or anything like that to report that we don't know of?
No, it's been a real good week, obviously, since last week. Reviewed it, looked at it in the meeting, went through individual stuff that we are good at, stuff that we have to improve. A couple of good days of training in the AUL regarding tactics and stuff like that. And then, look, it's just about getting down there tonight now and getting a feel of the pitch and little things, the surroundings, the heat, different balls, all that sort of stuff, you know. And it's just to make sure the lads are ready to rock tomorrow. And listen, I'm sure they are. It's as for them as players, it's a huge opportunity for the club. But I suppose just as a player, and thinking back myself as a player these nights, you don't want them. You don't want any regrets. You don't want to look back in a couple of years thinking you let one go by. You know, so I'm sure they're highly motivated for it.
Yeah, is there a balance to strike between embracing these trips and the opportunities as a team, but at the same time then, you know, having that professional mindset of having a job to do and perform at the highest level?
Without doubt, look, I think the manager touched on it before we came away, like it's not a holiday, we're going over to take care of the business, you know. At the end of the day, we're professional, the boys are paid, they're professional footballers. You're coming over here to do a job, and that's what they've all dreamt about doing, I suppose. And as a League of Ireland players, to get opportunities in Europe, it's a massive carrot, I suppose. They chased it all last year and stuff like that to be here, so you got to take advantage of it. You got to seize the day, you know. Tomorrow is that moment for them.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Joey, how are things? It's Bernard here in Virgin Media.
Yeah, all good, yeah.
Good. Just to expand on that, how big of a challenge is that? Because I suppose all the momentum that you've had this season has all been about, you know, life in Dublin, and you have a very set pattern. But obviously, you're out of your environment this week as a challenge of, well, relatively a challenge of keeping the players, you know, ticking over and entertained, for a better word, all day. You're out of your comfort zone in many ways this week. How big of a challenge is that?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Look, as I said there, I think again, from players and staff point of view, like, you don't really get that opportunity, I suppose, playing the League of Ireland. You know, obviously travelling on planes and stuff like that. Everything in regards to travel is done on buses and stuff like that. You know, so but you get that feel of it. You know, there's a real buzz. I'm sure players over the years have always said that when you go to airports and you're checking in your gear and you're travelling away, you feel like it takes it up a notch. You know, and staying in hotels and stuff and experiencing different cultures and different conditions to play in against different opposition. Sometimes, obviously, the way the league is set up, you get so familiar with players and teams by playing each other 4 times a year and the cup on top of that, you know. So that experience, I think, of something different and new teams and looking at how teams play and working on that and figuring them out, and obviously coming up with a game plan, then yourself as an individual player to making sure you know who you're up against and making sure you produce. And the pressure's obviously on the game. It's obviously up. It's a huge game. It's a huge game for the football club, for the fans, for the staff, for the players especially, you know, and obviously the opportunity is there to get progress, to get to know around in Europe and stuff like that. So it's all these things, yeah, I'm sure you got to embrace, you know, and this is why we're involved in football.
You mentioned there no regrets. Are there any kind of, like, again, you're around each other 24/7, you've loads of time to chat to the players. Are there any kind of stories you're telling the players as regards trying to follow through and make sure that there's no regrets come Thursday night when you get back on the plane?
Listen, I think, as I said, tonight we're going training, and then tomorrow it's about there at the moment. And listen, taking the tactics on board, looking at what we done well, what we didn't do so well last week. Obviously, last week was a little bit blind, I suppose, so that probably was a benefit to us, especially playing at home in Talca. But as I said, these games in Europe, especially in the first half in Talca last week, are just, the boys are on the pitch, even though we've shown them videos and stuff like that, you're still feeling each other out, you know. That moment, individual players, you don't know who you're up against, you're just, it's sussing each other out and seeing that. So that's how the game sort of, I think, starts most of the time. Now listen, normally last week it didn't because we got off to a flyer, but yeah, it's just about, again, tomorrow, different conditions, different stadium. I'm sure there's going to be that bit of a little feeling each other out again on a different surface and stuff like that, you know. And then it's yeah, then the game, obviously us being one up and stuff like that, it's gonna, the game flows then, you know.
Do Shells need to be better tomorrow night?
Yeah, definitely. I think we do. Like, you know, I think it's as I said, we needed to be, well, we wanted to be winning coming over here, and we done that. But that was part one of the job, you know. Part two of the job now is to finish it off tomorrow night. It's going to be, as I said, there's massive pressure on the game. It's a huge opportunity for both clubs, both sets of players and stuff like that. So I'm sure they're going to be pushing like the way we are, you know. And but hopefully, yeah, we have quality. I think we have quality players, quality starters. The bench, obviously, you've seen over the last couple of weeks the signings that we've made. It's a huge benefit, and I'm thinking these conditions over here, yeah, the bench is going to be a key.
Just final one for me, how big of a game is this in your season? Is this your biggest game of the season so far tomorrow night?
Yeah, look, it is, but see how cliche one. It's only, the next one's always the biggest one, you know. But of course, yeah, like to progress in Europe, and everything that goes with that, I suppose it's yeah, it's a huge opportunity. You don't want to be on the wrong side of the result, you know.
Best of luck. Thanks, Joey.
Cheers.
Any more questions, guys, for the live section?
Yeah, I'll jump in there, Darren, if that's okay. Hi, Joey. Kieran Burke from Between the Stripes here. Hope you're well.
Yeah, very well.
I think a lot of people probably talk about Shelburne, about your defensive structure, how organised you are off the ball, and obviously that'll be a huge help tomorrow night. But something people don't talk about that often, how good Shells are in possession on the ball, and how well the players do the basics to a very, very high level. How important is that going to be tomorrow night, given the heat and the conditions that you're going to be playing in?
Yeah, listen, without a doubt, you've got to be able to keep the ball, you know, and you've got to dominate possession. That's obviously what our aim is going to be, you know. But as I touched on the other night there with the lads doing the meeting, sometimes, especially in Europe, I always feel you're at your most vulnerable when you're in possession, you know, because you just tend to open up that little bit. Players at this level, they're obviously up a notch, I feel, and then they can hurt you in transitions. And I think last week, there was moments like that where at times we had comfortable possession, but we just coughed it up. You feel you're in control, you feel you're controlled, you're not, you know, as I said, you're so most vulnerable and you can be hurt. So that's definitely something that we've touched on, and yeah, we'll make sure that, well, hopefully tomorrow, by having possession, though, your structure is ready to attack, but you're also set to defend if you do cough it up, you know.
I suppose it was very unlike Shells to concede from a set piece last week. Was that the biggest disappointment on the night?
Yeah, without a doubt. Listen, I think it was our first attack probably in the game, but it just shows you, I suppose, it was a reality check, you know. I suppose the lads are probably looking at, we dominated the game, obviously up until then point, you're probably thinking, oh, we're going to go on and get the second goal, and all of a sudden bang. But you have to deal with that, and that's again the growth of the team and what you're up against in Europe. As I said, it went in a half time, we were 1-1. The lads were a bit disappointed, I suppose, because of the control we had to be 1-1. But again, it was just that moment to reset, and we touched on it that yeah, these games are like the 4 halves of football, you know, and the first half was 1-1. We needed to go out and win the second half. And that was the message at half time. We done that, so that was part one of the job done. But as I said, it goes on tomorrow night now, you know.
I know you'll be hoping to have many more weeks like this as the season goes on, but it is a very demanding week travelling to Gibraltar. You come home then for the cup game, but you look at the players you brought off the bench in the first leg, likes of Wood and Boyd and Coop. You've built a squad there now that is capable of competing on all fronts. Nah,
yeah, without doubt, like, and that's what it's about, you know, the squad. I think over here, especially like the conditions of over here, the heat and stuff like that, you know, in the game. I think the bench is going to have a massive part to play. So that's what you want, you know. You want lads coming on, being able to impact it. and we have that, as you said, there's a cup game down on Sunday. Yeah, it's a great time. It's a great time to be involved at the club. It's a great time to be a player and a member of staff. Listen, if you don't enjoy this and you don't enjoy the walk and the travel in regards to you're in the wrong game, and listen, from a personal point of view, you absolutely do. So it's not walk to me.
Thanks.
Finally, for me, I know Damien spoke to Ashleen last week about how he used to keep himself occupied on away trips back in the day. Were there any door-to-door check-ins last night in the hotel?
No, definitely not here. As you said, I was so busy at the minute. I've been on the laptop all day, looking at prepared for tomorrow, and then looking towards Bray and stuff like that. So it's flat out for me.
Great stuff, Joey. Best of luck.